95. Let's get to Meg 2 The Trench, which is currently available on both Netflix and Max. It's directed by Ben Wheatley, stars Jason Statham, Wu Jing, Sophia Call, Paige Kennedy. Not really a big cast. And the synopsis is Jonas Taylor leads a research team on an exploratory dive into the deepest depths of the ocean. Their voyage spirals into chaos when a malevolent mining operation threatens their mission and forces them into a high stakes battle for survival. So this one came out, I think, in summer of last year. I had not seen the first one, until like right before this one came out, and I didn't see this one until a few months later for the first time. I am a big sucker for shark movies. I just like shark survival attack films, like horror films. I love Jaws, like many do, but I'm a sucker for like B movie shark films, like 47 meters down, that sort of thing. And so in some ways, this was right up my alley. This franchise now, I guess you can call it. I don't think the first one blew me away, so I wasn't really like excited to see this one. But the thing that drew me in the most, and it still baffles me as to why this happened. I don't understand why Ben Wheatley directed this. Like, good for him that he got a big movie. I know that if I had been like an indie director and I got the chance to make a huge movie, do it absolutely. So I'm not criticizing him, but he, did like Free Fire, Kill List, High Rise, Rebecca, the remake. Like, he's a very unique, bizarre art house filmmaker who I've loved for years. I think the first thing I saw was High Rise, and I've seen everything he's done to this point. And when I first started watching this, I didn't even realize he had directed it until I think the end, actually. And what is most disappointing is I get it because it's a big blockbuster sequel. There is not a hint, in my opinion, being a bit of a Ben Wheatley fanhead, there's not like a hint of Ben Wheatley in this movie. Like, if you know his films, this one felt like anybody could have directed it. There's no real stylistic choices that are unexpected or uncommon. Like, visually, it's very plain. The stuff underwater, the horror elements, very generic. Like, I can understand if he's like, all right, I got a big movie, getting a big paycheck, getting my name out there. I'm just going to do this and, reap the rewards, I guess, which I get it again. But from a critical standpoint, a overall quality standpoint, I was so let down. I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. And I was like, there is nothing in this that reminds me of recent or previous Ben Wheatley films. So that was my biggest shock of all. But I think just talking, not only that's not a huge deal if that was still a good movie, but I don't think it is. I think it's pretty bad. I like the first one decently. I think it's watchable. It's fairly simple. The shark attack stuff is good. And I like the overall idea of the Meg and bringing that creature back. But in this one, like, another huge thing, the Meg is barely even in it. Like, I felt like most of it took place on land. A lot of it was dealing with other sort of conflicts and dangers when they were underwater. And I felt like this was barely even a shark movie. Like, this could have just been a summer, I don't know, Jurassic World movie or something. Like, there's so little shark in it, to me at least. Maybe I'm in the minority, but that was a huge issue. Everybody, Jason Statham, I've talked about a lot recently. I like him in general. Now he's grown on me. And check out the recent reviews that I've done of his films in the show notes. I listed them there. He has nothing to do in this. He's pretty bland. I don't fully blame him, but there's nothing to that character. And the rest of the cast, really uninteresting. Like, no one really of good charisma. The writing is terrible for the most part. So I'd say it's one of the worst blockbusters of last summer that I've seen, which I've seen most now, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'll go back and rewatch it at some point if I'm desperate for a shark movie, but I think if I had to pick, would always pick the first Meg, and then most other shark movies over this. I think 47 Meters Down is better, and a couple others are better than this one too. So I would not recommend it. I would be curious to know your thoughts. If you liked it, didn't like it, whatever. What are your favorite shark movies? If you're listening to this on YouTube or somewhere else you can comment, please let me know, or let me know on Letterboxd, whatever. So that is a 1.5 out of 5.